welcome to another segment of Meeting People. I'm here with the Mayor of Idaho Falls, Mayor Rebecca Casper, and today is going to be a great session. A lot of information, a lot of advice, a lot of motivation. So I'd like you guys to sit tight and listen. The Mayor, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, anything you'd like to share?
Sure, and thank you for this opportunity, Eugene. I am a mother of 4 children. I grew up in, well, we lived all over when I was young, when I was in school. I went to many schools in the United States. But I did my undergraduate work at Brigham Young University in Utah. I did graduate work both at Brigham Young and at the University of California in Berkeley, and had some interesting jobs in Washington, D.C., in the state of Utah, and in Arizona, and now living here. And at this time, I'm serving as the mayor of the city of Idaho Falls.
Oh, that's great. That's a lot of moving around, a lot of education. And do you want to tell us what's your passion? What are you very passionate about?
I am a person who tends to be passionate about things. I care a lot about things, and I do care about. I care about my community, and I know that sounds a little corny coming from someone who, hi, I'm the mayor, and yes, I care about my community. But in fact, that's why I think I'm the mayor, because I care about these things. I care about, when I was a young person in school, I ran for the student council offices. I cared about that environment, that community, my school community. When I was at university, I ran for student office because I cared about my student community. When I was in graduate school, I got involved in the graduate student council. Because I cared about the rules and the environment that governs wherever I've happened to be living. When I was not working, was a mother of young children, I got involved as someone who, the internet was a little bit new in everybody's household back then, in the late 90s, it was the late 90s. And we were using the internet. We created a mother's group. And that mother's group, we had a schedule, and we met every week with different parks with our children to play, and we created a schedule for who was going to bring treats and all of those things. But that mother's group led to, why don't we have a playground here in this neighborhood? And we got a little bit active, and I got involved in a council that helped to build a playground. So it's something, Eugene, I can't help myself from getting involved. I care about things. When I first moved to Idaho Falls, my kids were in elementary school, and I became involved in the elementary school as a parent volunteer, and that led to being involved in the school district as a parent volunteer. That led to involvement with working with the board of trustees for the school district, because I was a parent volunteer who cared about the rules and the environment that my children were in. And so, what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about improving whatever environment I'm in. It's just, I can't help myself.
Nice, thank you. Some time ago, I had the opportunity to meet the mayor, and I can tell you that she really cares about people. We had a really good conversation. You didn't know she was the mayor. There are people who like to put position before anything else, but you didn't know she really cares about people, and that one I can tell you about it because I've been a witness to that. So, Madam Mayor, do you want to tell us, if you hadn't chosen maybe the route of being a mayor, what would it be?
Well, my formal education, going through studying political science, put me in a position where I have had the privilege of teaching political science classes at a university. And I also taught here in our community at the then Technical College, which is now a community college. And so I think maybe some of your viewers would be surprised to hear me say this, but education and political work, public service in an elected office are very similar. I spend a good deal of my time as mayor teaching people about their community and about what their government can and cannot do for them. And when I'm in the classroom teaching political science classes about government, essentially, I am teaching students about what government can and cannot do. And so if I weren't in this, I would be in a classroom. They're very similar, and I really enjoy that. I happen to believe, and I know that you're someone who was born and raised in a different country, I happen to believe that the privileges and freedoms of the citizenship of this country, of the United States, are fantastic and wonderful. They give us tremendous opportunity. I have not lived internationally, so I can't gauge for myself if this is truly a unique and wonderful system that we live in, or if there are wonderful things everywhere. I'm sure there are, actually.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been told many times that there are places where the political freedom is not quite there to the extent that we have it here in this country. And boy, I want to be able to teach people what they have. The people who live in this country, help them to appreciate and to take advantage of what it means to have this United States citizenship and to use it for all that they can, all the good that they can. So I
That's
care
really
about
great.
that.
Yeah, that's good. Fortunately for me, I grew up in a country where it was democratic. You know, there was a lot of political freedom, so it was really good to be able to do things that don't hinder your
Yeah.
freedom. You know, and
Did
I
you
see
grow
that
up?
a lot here.
Did you grow up with knowing or believing that you could be anything that you wanted to be?
Yeah.
Oh, to me that is a hallmark of a successful political system. If young people don't feel constrained, that's important to me.
That's great. Thank you for sharing. Could you tell us about the time where you felt the impact of your job, you know, as a mayor?
That's a really interesting question. I have not had, right now I'm thinking about the disasters that are going on in Texas and Florida, the earthquake that just happened last evening in Mexico. As we're filming this, these are things that are swirling around in the world, and I have not had the responsibility as an elected official of dealing with something of that magnitude or gravity. But there are moments when, and these are much smaller, but where I feel like, okay, I needed to be around to help make a good decision. We had the privilege of hosting people from all over the world here in Idaho Falls for the eclipse a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that provided that opportunity for this city to either be prepared or not be prepared. And of course we wanted to do a good job and be as ready as we could be for all of that. But if I hadn't been able to be supportive of those efforts and encourage them and advocate for being ready, we may not have been. Now that's not quite feeling the impact of this job. Just yesterday, we did something that by all accounts is very, very small, but we opened up for public use a pond that we stocked with fish, and we opened it up to people to go fishing. We have young children that go there. And that, I had a chance just for a few minutes to be there with some 4 or 5-year-old children and watch them enjoy the fish, enjoy the water, enjoy what it might be like to become fishermen and cast their lines in. And that's feeling the impact as well. Seeing that the things you can do in this position can bring joy, can bring new experience. Some of those kids are low-income children whose families won't be taking them on vacations to go camping or to go out, and who don't even have the privilege of going on a vacation because they're busy working. Those families, to be able to have those kids have a little experience right here in town, that's feeling the impact as well. So I'm not quite sure if I answered your question.
Oh yeah, you did though. Funny thing, I was driving to work yesterday and I heard the announcement of like stocking the pond with fish. In the time I was like, oh, I wish I could be there. Hopefully one day I get to visit it though. So it looks like you've been through a lot in life. You've had a lot of experience and
a lot of wrinkles that prove it.
and a lot of successes. Your failures are part of it, but looking at you, you failed, you've gotten up, you've had a lot of successes. Can you tell us what are some things you did in life to help you achieve your goals?
Earlier I became a little bit emotional when we were talking about whether or not young people feel constrained, and to me that's very important. For whatever reason, my parents had economic struggles and financial struggles, but for whatever reason they were able to protect me enough from some of the negatives associated with moving a lot and with not having money for things. They were able to protect and preserve this idea that I was loved, which is a privilege. but also that I could do anything I wanted to do. And they encouraged me, even though the odds were not very good, not very good. And that stuck in my head. I didn't know the odds weren't very good. I believed that I could do anything because I had adults around me helping me to understand that as a small child. When I got a little older, I was blessed with teachers who also didn't do harm to that view I had. I then was able to, was very blessed to get a scholarship to go on to school. My parents would not have been able to pay for schooling. And so for me to have a scholarship that allowed me to really jump into my studies and not have to work part-time and go to school part-time at a lesser school, I was able to go to a good school. And so all of those things came together to help me to always be able to preserve that belief of believing in myself. And so to young people, I would want to nurture that, feed that spirit. You can do whatever you want to do. To older people, to those who work with young people, I would encourage them to not do anything to discourage or to create or feed the cynicism and create an environment that kills that spirit, that belief the young people have that they can do anything. The work of a mayor is, on a daily basis, seems rather far removed from that. But let me tell you how I view it. If I spend time making sure that the library budget is secure, then the library can create an environment that allows children to come in and read and dream and make some of those things possible. If I spend time and effort making sure that our power electric generation facilities are up and running and free from problems and regulation and all of the things that they need to be successful, then we don't have people literally in the dark when the lights work, and the quality of their life can be higher. And when quality of life is higher, people are able to accomplish more and more things. Same with basic services like streets and water and wastewater. All those things, if they're functioning well, then your society or your community can move to the next level. They don't worry about those basic things. So I move on as well because we have good workers in all of those areas and good expertise. So I can move on to something like creating jobs and working on improving the local economy. And the way I see it, every time we can create a good job, one with a livable wage, one that can allow someone to have health benefits and just personal security for their home and family, then we create perhaps an environment where a mother or a father can be relaxed enough in the evening to sit down and read a book to their child, or to go to a ball game, or to visit a city park. So to me, all of the work that I get to be a part of, at the end of all of that, is to make sure that people have a quality of life so that young people can grow up and be everything they need to be and want to be, and that the adults around them can help to nurture that. And so to me, it all works together, but it starts with all of us demanding that we do create those environments that are healthy for young people. So that's kind of a different spin on the question that you asked. But
that's great. That's great. Well, folks, I told you guys we're going to learn so much, and we did today. Don't give up on your dreams. Keep the fire burning, and we'll catch you in the next segment of Meeting People. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eugene.